So the question is generally, once you've done your work, how do you send it off? And usually you send it off by making a PDF. And so the question is, how do you make a PDF? So it's slightly different. It's usually an export or a save as. So we're in InDesign at the moment. You just go to File and you go down to Export. And I'm not going to go through all the options. I just want to show you where the basic structure is. I've done this already. The format could be anything, well, not anything, but it'll be PDF for print or PDF interactive. Interactive will be for just your digital stuff. It has a lot less options, but we'll do PDF print, and I'll do this as number 2. And we'll do a save. And now we have all the options. Now, I'll just go through the most important ones. One, I always set the compatibility to the highest number, Acrobat 8 or 9. It's been Acrobat 8 or 9 for the past 20 years or whatever it is, so everything should be able to read it. But it's possible you may be asked to do something to Acrobat 5 or 6, depending on the job. All pages or arrange, export as, we can do a spreads. You could create separate PDFs for the pages, and you can set sort of opening options. You can open in full screen mode. I'll leave that off, and you can view the PDF after exporting, which is very handy. It'll double click on it for you to open it up in case you forget where it is, but I'll leave that off. And if you've got HTML stuff like bookmarks and stuff, you have to tick them here. Do be aware, although you've got it in the InDesign document, if you don't tick it here, you don't get it in the PDF document. So usually, if you're expecting something in the PDF document and it doesn't appear, it's probably because you haven't got the option ticked here. Do be aware as well, one of the reasons why I use the highest compatibility number is it will recognize layers, and Acrobat understands layers, so you can end up with layers in Acrobat. If I go back to Acrobat 4, there are no layers. It doesn't understand them. If I go to 5, it doesn't understand them. But as soon as I go to 6, then it allows it. So I always do the highest number. There's compression, which I leave alone, whatever the defaults are. My recommendation is export everything without worrying about file size first. See how big the resulting PDF is. And if it's too big, then we can come back here and change the numbers. Marks and bleeds, I'll put them on in this one. Generally, a printer, a bureau, will always ask you put the printer's marks on. And output, I don't bother with this. I don't need to. Advanced, leave alone. And security, I never bother putting a password on, and then there's a summary. And I'll do an export. And that's for InDesign, how you create a PDF. Very straightforward. If we go to Photoshop, for example, so here's a PSD, we go to File, and although there is an export, this is really not how you do it. So if I go to Export As, this is for sort of image formats, really. See, there's no PDF here. I'll cancel that. And if you go to Export, say for web again, so generally for Photoshop for a PDF, if you want a PDF, save as, file, save as. And at the bottom, we've got format and choose PDF. There you go, Photoshop PDF. If for some reason you don't see all these options, it depends on what you're playing around with, then click on Save a Copy, which in essence is the same thing. And you'll get all the, you see there's more options here, you see. So do be aware of that. You may need to do that at the end of the day. But I won't bother with that here. I'll do a cancel. And for Illustrator, it's very straightforward. We go to File. Again, you can go to Export, but this is not for a PDF. It's Save As again. File, Save As. We wait for it to come up. There you go. Thank you very much. And at the bottom, the format and PDF. Be aware, Illustrator uses PDF, the format internally, so it's well used to PDFs. And if you only have a PDF, you can open it up. Let's do a cancel. And if I close that and file and open, I've already exported a PDF. And here's the flower PDF, and I can do open, and I don't care about the color management. And here we have our shapes that we can play around with and do whatever we want, and so on and so forth. The PDF structure is basically the Illustrator file format, just so you're aware. So generally, file, export, or file save as, depending on the application you are in, to create a PDF.